Hello once again on Richard's Adventures. We're on a train, as you can see. And where we're going today, keep watching. Some prices are coming up today. The journey always starts on a train. We're still trying to get some permission to go in there. Still going to write to these companies and try to go in there because they've got some retro trains. Really old stock. It's far out. I think it's right over there. I have to pass it and see it. Yeah, because they've got this bit here, the trains. It'd be nice to go to a depot. I know there's one in Acton. You can go to that, but you have to book it very quick. All these good things you have to book really quick. Yeah. You see it just about right over there. It's a really old train. Really, really old train. It's far out. So it's all about Loughton. Getting history of Loughton. Going to show you through the town, the whole town. Going to whiz through it and show you some interesting facts about the town. Things you probably knew and things you probably didn't know. But it's worth to know. Let's start the tour. Going to make our way to the bottom, start the tour and make our way up. Here we are at the end of Loughton. Just want to let you know, in 2002, Loughton was given in the TV show. It was in Essex Wives. It was actually filmed here. It's quite an interesting bit of info though. Essex Wives. Something to check out on YouTube, isn't it? Might do a few links to sort of places filmed around this area, so you can check them out yourselves. Also, Loughton is also known as Loughton. I put the words slashing across the screen, a bit of information as we're going along, and it dates back to 250, 2,500 years ago. And I just had an idiot in the car shouting up really loudly. What do you expect from Essex, eh? But yeah, don't forget to look at the bottom of the screen, on the screen, on the screen, bits of info flashing up across the screen about Loughton, as well as furniture stuff. There's a lot of history to it though. It's different style buildings, as you can see, different types. As you can see, like the 80s, and they've got the Edward Ethan, and they've got the Victorian. So a bit of a mixture of everything really. They've still got the old fashion logos or signposts, that they still have them to tell you directions where to travel. There's more further up, but this is one of them anyway. It's nice to see a bit of history, something old still standing. Now in this wrapped up in its little timeline, these buildings here like 70s, 80s onwards, and further up there's a building just a bit earlier than these buildings here. This is one of the buses that come to Loughton. Just want to point out the building behind here. This building here, it dates back a bit further. There's no recognition of what date it is, but there's a bit of a logo up there. I'll try and zoom in and get the information on that. Up there says Music Academy, but no recollection of how old the building is. Vision Express wasn't there, it's quite new days, but the thing above is quite old. You see how the era's changed from the 70s to 80s and sort of gone back slightly in time, and it happened quite a long way down towards Loughton. Quite a few buildings do that. I'll show you. See, the buildings are slightly changing. Loughton, or Loughton, whatever way you want to call it, is an Anglo-Saxon period town. That's how far back the history goes. But I did say it goes back 250,000 years ago. So there's quite a bit of history there. But yeah, it's pretty cool to know that. It's a bit interesting as you get further down the town and see things. So you see the modern buildings as well as old buildings. And I'm just going to get further down at the bottom and take more information. As you see now, the buildings slightly change, sort of modernise itself, but the older ones are further down this way in the Anglo-Saxon town. And I'll show you further down at the bottom, I'll show you what I mean. And as you can see, Loughton's slightly changing with the buildings, with the older buildings along here. But it's quite nice, they kept the old logo and they got the old signs. The old signs of Loughton. Right here, as you can see. And so the buildings are slightly changing, as you can see. That's right, a few changing there as well. Oh. We're going to go further to down into that part of the town. It's supposed to be the old part of town. We go down to the older part. This is what the old logo is. You see the old signs and the old building. And at the bottom here, right at the bottom, I don't know if you can see the forest just there. That's where I was showing you the other day, part of Epping Forest. It just cuts just at the bottom, which is interesting. But we're heading this way, straight down, and passing all the older buildings and showing you the difference in the new part of the town. And you've got the old part. So this technically is the old part of the Anglo-Saxon town. As you see, the buildings are quite nice actually up here. Quite different, which is nice to know. It's a nice picturesque town. You should come visit it one day. Most of the pub here quite modernised itself. Despite it had the original colours on there, black, they changed it grey. But it's nice to know it's still here. The Holly Bush, quite a nice pub to go. There's quite a few new shops here, as well as old, as you can see. It slightly changes as we get just further up to the top of the hill. I'll show you what I mean. This area slightly widens up. These buildings usually wasn't here years ago. No, these buildings weren't here. So these buildings, some of these buildings were, some of them weren't. So you can see ones that were, some ones that weren't, which is quite interesting. We're making our way down that way and see what there is and show you the difference. What's interesting about Loughton or Newcastle? Not many people settled here until the railway was built. So when the railway decided to come here, they bought more shops, they brought more people, a bit more businesses really. So the town expanded on itself. I just want to show. This is sort of the part I'm in now. It was the first bit and sort of expanded on the way out as a modern section right behind me. That's how it's been expanded. I want to show you the other way, which is slightly different than the other end. Some of these buildings are quite old. This one right here across the road is sort of 70s, 80s. It was here. It wasn't here before that. So these buildings were not here. But some of those buildings are quite old as you go further down. But more as houses than it is shops. Just want to point out, some of these buildings look old, but they're not that old. They're designed to keep the tradition style of Loughton or Newcastle, whatever you would like to call it. But yeah, they do that on purpose, just to keep the heritage. So really, it's not that old. It's just the way they do it. The way they design them, as you noticed, you can see the way they design them. They're not that old, but they do look good. It's that traditional now to keep it down this way, to keep that look on your building. When I do my walk, again, just a bit of starter point towards London. It's 11 miles, or 11 a bit, and this will be the route to take. Just to show you how it drastically changes from Essex to Loughton. And you know the town's right down there now, at the end. I'm going to show you a few old signs of the road signs, because you've got your modern road signs, as you can see across the road. And I'll show you some new old-fashioned model signs, how they compare basically. Here is a very modern road sign. You see the buildings, I did tell you, didn't I, some of them are made to look old. So you get buildings like this basically, and they just paint it. See, look, they've got them here, like there's a name on it, and then they paint it, and you think, oh wait, that's old, when it technically isn't. It's just designed to be like that. Interesting that though, one thing, really interesting. But we're making our way down this way, showing you a really old logo, or really old sign. It's something you don't normally see as a bungalow. I thought I'd show you a bungalow. It's a nice place that is. I don't know what it is, but it's nice. It's a bungalow. It's nice to see a bungalow. A really low house. But the old sign is just around the corner here. I'm going to show you anyway. Let's get to it. I like some of these shops, they're quite nice. Look. That's really nice, that. Really nice new shops here. There we have it, a very old logo. And the buses down here are different as well, just to show you. Different colour buses, eh? How cool is that? It's nice to see something different for a change. You guys, gonna go to the station now. Gonna be ending the video, if you want to carry on watching it, that is. Be a bit about buses. There's a bit of history on my journey. It's a bit modernised. It's a retail park. Right, yeah, be a bit of buses and a bit of trains to end the video. Hope you enjoyed the Loughton video. Anyway you want me to explore, just give a comment below. If I can go there, it'd be great. I'll tell you what, to make it interesting, I should give a handful of places and let you guys pick. I'll do that at the end of this video. I'm going to give you a choice where to go. And I give you 3 choices and you just pick one. We're not off on our way to the station. I can see the station's quite old. Quite old. Okay guys, these are the 3 choices you can pick for me to do, and this is probably this week or probably next week, see how I feel. Haunted Epping is one. Mystery Walk through Loughton, from Loughton, so outwards. You don't know where I'm going to end up, but I know why I'm going to end up. I'm not saying no. And a walk from Hainault to Romford. Pick one of those.